there changing my voice. So this video is a response to the Lilly show and her short video, which says that, we was, and the last word is k-ngz. Okay. Now, let's think about this thing here. First of all, is a king a respectable idea? Let's start there. Can somebody be a moral king and a good leader? Like a soul brother, for example. A soul brother and moral king. Yes. That's pretty straightforward. Is the female who made the video more respectable than, say, Shaka Zulu? No. Than the black kings of Egypt, say in the first dynasty? No. She more respectable than the most serious African warrior that ever lived? No. She's just a blonde white chick. And keep in mind, I'm part white, part black. I'm not racist. Part black, part white. Okay. So we see people like Nick Fuentes and this female, and they're running their mouths, and they're oversimplifying things on purpose, and they're provocateurs, like skinheads often accuse Jews of being provocateurs for whatever reason. And so we got to look at this. First of all, are you doing it on behalf of the Jews? So we're going to have to go through the list because we don't see people being honest, right? The answer isn't to say, hey, guys, they're not all so bad, or no, they're not all like that, but to give people their rightful places must be part of the solution. So when we look at the Old Testament, right, and we see the descriptions of people and the stories, what have you. And as we see in the stories, and we ask ourselves, well, who is like Isaiah, like it says in Psalms, right? Who is like him, what have you, right? Who can proclaim the mighty acts of God? Who are they like? And we see that Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic language. So the Jews who obeyed God in the Bible were more like righteous black kings or something like this, right? And the masses of people who are criticizing black people and trying to put them all in one category and say, try to make them look bad for white supremacy, they're like some inbred redneck from the South. They're like these people who show, make black faces, show their butt to black people, who harass little black kids. They're very, very undignified people, very indecent, very indecorous, okay? To their extreme shame. Now, while I was making this video, some Jewish couple walked by. I see them all the time. We're on pretty good terms. I'm not racist. So, as we look at this thing, we ask ourselves, well, why would she do that, right? Well, who does this insult the most? Remember, I'm the king of kings, right? The top martial arts ever possible. It goes back to characteristics. Proverbs, which starts off by saying it's a book to understand the rest of the books of the Bible, goes on and on about characteristics. So what are the characteristics of God, right? Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a warrior. I believe it's Psalm 50. The Lord is a God of justice. We see in Isaiah 5 and Psalm 9, God is known and is exalted by his acts of righteousness and justice. Right? That's how he's exalted. So righteousness and justice. So it's very funny that they say that when we see that, with Martin Luther King, it says he judges people by the content of their character. Right? And that's how he wants people to be. And we see all the European kings, all the Jewish leaders, they don't measure up to Martin Luther King. So how are you going to say, hey, we was kings? You even live in a country where you have a Martin Luther King Day. You have a Martin Luther King Day that proves you wrong. And there's African warrior kings that go beyond Martin Luther King. So what you're doing is very ignorant, very stupid. Then you cite these black Hebrew Israelites. Right? They've taken on a Jewish identity in a way that's very circus-like, right? They're not taken seriously by the majority of black people. But there are some black people who respect African kings. So when you say that, you're disrespecting them. You're disrespecting me. Would you go to Compton, for example? You're not brave. Would you go to Compton and say that? And say, hey, you over there, and say that phrase? No, because you're just a scared little girl hiding behind the government like a punk. You're not something more respectable than that, right? The Lord is a warrior. That warrior idea goes beyond a mere female mocking what it means to be a warrior, obviously, right? Because it's a divine characteristic, a morally precise warrior, a divine warrior. Revelation 19, the heavenly warrior defeats the beast. So how can you, who are insignificant and unimportant, and have lowered yourself to being a mocker, made yourself more insignificant, how can you take shots at the King of Kings and think that you're winning? Or think you're proving a point? You have disgraced yourself and your family. And I, Christ, have seen your video. Where does that leave you?